we'll discuss about the arrays, right? So what is an array? We all know, right? Right? So array is a collection of similar type of elements, right? You can store similar type of elements, data type of elements, or type of elements. Let's see that what exactly is that. So similar types of elements you can store, right? So the normal array, we have integer array, string array, character array, double array. We all types of data types you can create different types of arrays actually, right? And so what happens is every array, right? Let's say, for example, let me take this example and we can understand it, right? If I say int I equal to, let's say 20, and then int, I cannot store again I equal to 40, right? See here, if you use just variable, it will tell you it's a duplicate variable. You already kept stored a value of 20 inside the variable I. Why you are again trying to store this one? It's a single, right? Variable is a single point. You cannot store again this one. So here is what the variable drawback, right? Here is what the challenge for the variable. Once you declare it, you can keep single value. This is a data type of int, and I is a variable which you are keeping 20. So here you cannot store again in the same variable, right? Cannot hold different types of values, right? It cannot hold. Remember this, right? How to do this, right? So if I have need, right? So how we are going to do this? That is what the array is coming into the picture, right? Here is what we will go for the array. For example, what I can do is, so I can take the array, right? Let's say here I want to store multiple integer values. I can go for the integer array, right? I can go for the integer array and I can store multiple similar integer values, correct? So, right. And how, let's say if I declare an array, right? Int I, see that's how we declare the array, right? Int I, if it's a single one, int I, and then what do you do? So then there is a new keyword, and then what do you again the integer, and you have to there is a static. So basically what we do, we declare the size of an array. For example, the size of an array is, let's say 5, right? Let's say 5 here. See, we have already declared this variable, so that's the reason it's given. So if you see here, int I new, so this is a new operator which will help you to allocate the memory, allocate the memory. What happens to the memory? What happens to the memory, right? So what is going to happen with the memory now? So let's see, guys, if I want to do something, right? Let's say, if I have, for in this case, right? So what is going to happen here now? So it's going to, this is a memory. Let's say this is a memory, right? So it's going to form you how many cells basically? It's going to form the totally, so 5 cells here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's say this is a 5. Array index, right? So always start with the 0. Remember this, right? In the Java, basically, array index always start with the 0. This is the first index, second, third, fourth. See, what is the size of the, you should not get confused. The size of the array is 5. You can store 5 values, but the 5 values means it start with a 0, and the storage is, right, always -1. I mean it's 4. Length of the array is basically 5, but you can keep, so starting with 0 to 4 indexes, it always start with the 0 and 4. Remember this, right? So I can keep different values here. Let's say 10, 20, 30, 40. So whatever value I can store, right? So this one is always called as, right? This first index is a lowest index. Remember. So we call it as a lowest index. So what is the lowest index of the array? Always 0. Remember, always array start with a 0. And this highest index might differ. Always this highest index might differ for you guys. Remember this. All right, so the array, so what happens is it's going to differ. The lowest index of the array is 0 because it's starting with a 0, and the highest index of array is 4. Is it clear? So guys, and here basically what's happening, what type of an array it is? It is an so it is an integer array, right? It's an integer array. So what each cell, right? What each cell stores here? Each cell, so cell is right, one integer, you remember, right? Last session we discussed. So if you see the memory point of view, it has a 4 bytes. See here, 4 bytes here, 4 bytes here. It can allocate memory of 4 bytes. See here, how many indexes we can store? We can store 5. Remember, you can store 5 integers. I can store 5 integers. One integer can store 4 bytes of data. This one size, this cell can store 4. This can store 4, 4, 4 like this. Right, remember. So now, if I just see here, right? Let's see. I want to do something, right? Now, let's say I want to store how many values here? I can store 5 values. Let's say start with the 0, right? Index starts with the 0. I want to keep in the first index of an array. Let's say int of 0 equal to some value I'm going to store. Let's say integer array. If I declare this, I have to store integer values. Let's say 100. Int of why it is why it is throwing an error here? So if you see end, right? So end I so new 5, it's going to store the 5, right? That's what 1, 2, 3, 5 segments it is going to store. And so this should be, it should not be the data type. It should be your variable of an integer. So int I equal to new int 5. So this new operator, what it does, it allocates the memory with that size. Memory is, it is to however you want, you can, it's a big whole memory. In that, so it is going to allocate for the 5 integer. So this breakdown is done by this integer. The first index of an array, I told you have to array variable, right? Array variable which can store multiple values, right? So the first index is 100. Let's say I want to keep the other values, right? Let's say first value. So how much I can keep? I can keep like 200, something like this, right? 200. So I again, so the third, see here, it is keeping here 100. In second index, 200, right? In the third index, so it is keeping, let's say that this much, right? 300. And it's in the fourth index, let's say it is storing the value, right? Basically 400. And in the fifth index, let's say, right? So can we put the fifth index here? See here. How many 1, 2, 3, 4 values we can store, right? Let's say if I put the fifth index, right? Let's say it's fifth index. Will it store, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So how much values you can store? If I declare 4, remember, if I declare 4, right? So you can store 3. If I declare 5, I can store, so 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Always here. See, right? So if I, let's say, put in here, let's see that, right? So how it is going to store now? How it is going to store now? So the first index is always going to store here. Let's say put this here. You're going to put this 100, right? Like this 100, 200, 300, 400. This is the 400 you can put this, right? You can put the 400, start with the 0, 1, 2. So right, 2 is missing here, right? So that's what I was, why it is, what is the problem, right? So 2 is missing. You can store one more value actually. It works like this also. You can store one more value, right? Let's say index is 2. See, you can, based on the index, you can do that. 0th index, first index, this is third index, and you can keep the fourth index here. So I'll tell you, it's why I was trying to, do that, right? Let's say 5 index, fifth index. So this one, I mean, fourth index, but we can store the value 5. Remember, so array, if you declare 5 size, you can keep up to 4 index maximum because it's starting with a 0. Right? This array can store multiple similar set of data. Remember, and we can keep 0, 1, 2, 3 different set of data. Right? It will store 100 in first cell, 200, 300, 400, 500. And this can store 4 bytes of data. Each cell can store 4 bytes of data. And what is the lowest index of an array? 0. Highest index of an array is 4. And the highest index of an array is 4. But the size is 5, remember, starting with a 0. So hope you are able to understand, right, what exactly the array It can store similar. See, all integer types of array you can store in a similar data. It can store in an array. Let's say, if I want to print something like this, right? If I want to print the first index value, what is the first zeroth index value? What is the zeroth index value? The zeroth index value it is storing is 100, right? So if you could see that, right? So you can say that it is going to store this much value, right? If you execute this, right? So you can see the zeroth index value, whatever it stored, right? What? So zero index value, why it is not storing? See, it is just printing the zeroth index value, right? So whatever the value it is printing, see, basically what happens, right? There is something actually. If you want to print everything, right? So I'll tell you why it is showing the zero now. If you execute it, it is printing the index only. It is not printing the value. It is not printing the value. It is just printing the zero index only, right? So for example, right? So how do I want to print the value of it? So what if I want to see the zeroth index it's printing? If I want to print value of it, let's say I see index it's storing like this. Remember this, guys. If I put this one now, so what will be the value now? What will be the value now? So it's going to print what? Whatever value stored in it. See, this is just you are printing the zeros memory location, but now you are putting the first index of an array. I mean that is a zeroth index of an array is 100. You saw that, right? Like this, you can print it like this. Like I want to print like what is the value in third index? Again, it will print memory. You have to take that variable, right? So now if you see that, right? So it will print whatever value stored into the third index, right? I'm talking about third index, this one. See, first index is zeroth index is 100, third index is 400. Zero here is stored 100, and again this is the fourth one is so third one is 300. So whatever the value for this 400, whatever value we have stored. So right now, so if I want to print all these things, right, we can print it, different. I want to print all the values at one shot. How do I print all the values at one shot, right? I want to print all these 100, 200, 300, 400. I don't want to keep every time the statement, right? So we can do in a different ways. We can print it in a different way. There is an inbuilt method available, right? So basically you can print, of course, right? That's what we understood this one. What we understood these loops, right? Loops will help us to print this one, right? If you just see this, right? If you just see this, can you tell me, so what is the length of this, length of the array? What is the length of this array? Length of an array. How do you find the length of an array? Right? So I want to find the length of an array. Let's say that what is the variable? I dot length. See, it will give you the length of an array. So where do you store length of an array? What is the length of an array? Let's say 3, 4. It's what is this? This will print whatever length is size or length of the array. How do you do this? So it will what value coming it is? It is coming into the form of integer value, right? Again, you have to declare that, and you can put the length of it, right? You can just put so whatever value you can give or meaningful, right? So let's say length something like this, right? You can give a variable of this. I want to find the length of an array. Tomorrow it might be 100, 200, right? So what will print now? What is the length? So what is the length of an array? So length of an array, it is showing, it is this, put into this one, but it is not displaying. You have to put into the output statement, right? LEN, right? Now it will print. This is a print statement. You just capture the length of an array and you put into the LEN variable and you have to display that. If you execute now, so it is going to print for you. See, length of an array is, size of an array is 5. Size of an array is 5. Size of an array is 5. You can store 5 elements, but the index start with the 0. Index start with the 0. Remember this. Again, I'm reiterating it. People get confused, right? So the length of array is this much. What is the length of array? This is the length of an array, right? So the size of an array. But how many elements you can keep it, right? So how many elements you want to iterate all this, right? Length is 5, but till what cell it is stored the value? Till 4 it stored the value. Till 4 it store the value. So if I want to find out the cell or the array, index till what value is stored, still fourth it is stored, 100, 200, 300, 400. Remember that. So how do I do that? Let's say I want to find the, cell, right? The last cell where the value is stored. How do I do that? So let's say last cell a cell. Okay. So what I'm going to do this, let me put this something like this, right? Let's say I want to find out the cell of it, right? So concatenate with this cell. So how do you print that? You have to, whatever value you kept in length minus one, you have to always minus one. Otherwise, it's not going to work, guys. Right? So hope you are able to understand that, right? You can, if I want to length is 5. 5 minus length is what? What is the length? Just now we saw that, right? Length is 5. Size is 5. But what till what cell the value is stored? So till fourth cell value. So to find out that fourth cell, just length minus 1. So you will get the stored cell value till what we have stored the values, right? So this is what we are going to understand, right? So is it clear, guys? One more time, I'm going to, so if anything, please let me know. Is it clear to guys? So is it clear to guys? Can you type in clear or any questions? I can repeat it. I told you can ask any questions and please let me know if you have anything. Is it clear to everyone? So I want to see from everyone. Right? Right. Okay, good. So good. So it is pretty much clear. So I was telling, right, cell value, right? See, occupied the length of the array, size of the array is what? 5. 5 like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Memory allocated is 5. The size is 5. Are you clear? Is it clear, everyone? This is clear for you? What is the size of the array? Can you type that? Please type that. What is the size of an array? Length of an array is 5. Got it. Now, so size of the array is 5. But if I want to find out the indexes, cells, indexes, basically the indexes where the values are stored. On which, see, on fifth index, the value is not stored. Remember, on the fifth index, the value is not stored. If you store this, let me show you. If you store here, fifth one, let's say 600. Now it will throw an error. Array index out of bound exception. Can you say this? Array index out of bound exception. Array index out of bound index. Index 5 out of bound for length 5. See, boss, so you declared length 5. You can store only 5 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the index is saying 4, last index, but you are actually starting with 0 and you are keeping 5 values here. If you want to store one more value, I can't store. You declare here 6, I can store. You declare here 6, I can store. If you are declaring 5, and you are keeping 6 value, I cannot accept it. This is a static array. Remember, what type of array is this? What we are discussing is this is a static array. Whatever index size you declared, those many values I will store. If I comment this, it will work. Basically, the cell value is in which indexes instead of cell or index, right? Basically, the indexes in which indexes the value is stored. The value is stored the fifth index. Sorry, the fourth index, starting with the 0 and 4. Is it clear, guys? So right. Basically, array always start with the 0. This is a constant, right? So array always start with the 0. See, the facility given is 0. Start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. For example, if you want to start with the 0, see, if you don't want to use this, the memory is allocated. The memory is allocated, right? So if I do now, so what is going to print? See, array, remember this. I of 0. There is memory is allocated, but you have not kept the value. What it will show? If you have not kept the value, if you have not kept the value, see guys, this one I'm trying to print. Actually, there is no value. You allocated the memory, but you are not storing value. It will print 0. Why? So see, if you have declared means you have to keep the value. That's why I declare it simple. Understood, guys? So when we declare the static array size, it starts with a 0 always. No, I don't want 0. I will store from 1 means you store from 1. But this memory is already allocated because you have put 5 and it always starts with a 0. Simple, guys. Is it clear with everyone? Array always, that's what I declared you, that I told you that array always starts with the array always start with the 0 index. Remember this. So this is how, if you put more than that, it will always give what exception, guys? What is the exception? Understood that? Interview question, right? I sometimes ask, right? Interview question, right? So what is that? If I declare a size of an array is 5, if I store the sixth value, what type of exception you get? You get this array index out of that bound exception, right? And I have declared the size of array is 5, length of the array is 5. But if I try to store the sixth array, so again it will throw an array, this one, array index out of that exception, right? So this is how this array works, right? These are all predefined things, right? Static means it's going to be static. So is it clear with everyone? So how to do that? So right now, what we were talking, actually we were talking that I want to display all the values at one shot, all values at one shot. I don't want to, so one shot basically. I don't want to print one by one, index 1, 0, 1, like this, right? So always we can use this for loop. What is the use of it, right? It iterates. See, here we found, we understood, normally use for, while and all, right? So, right. What do we do now? So let's say end, and you can take any kind of a thing. 8p, you can I, K, P, T, anything you can tell. This is just an variable. How we have taken I'm taking P here. No restriction at all. You can take anything. And array always start with the 0. I want to start from the 0th index. I want to start from the 0th index. So declaration of for loop. So here end. I'm not taking I because I have already taken I. I can take I also. If I take I, it will throw an error. You already used it, again you are using in another loop, right? So I'll take variable, and I'll keep first value and p and p go to 0, and then so p, right, again p. So what is the size of this one till what you want to print? So then there is a what you have taken, p dot length, p, right? You have taken k. So basically you can take variable. If you want to put inside the variable, two things here, guys. Two things here. Remember. So let me take in this way, right? So you might get in confused. So right, p, like this is like I. Let me put this I, and then if I say I, right. So otherwise, what I can do is I can take a k to store this. Anything I can do, you can take that because you might get confused, right? So that's the reason I'm doing. So k less than I want to take the size of this dot length, and then what I do is k plus plus, right? So what I'm telling is initialization of integer array. This is, so I'm taking end, and then k, start with the value k, because first the variable which I'm taking to store all these five values, 0, this 100, 200, this one is basically k. I'm taking it, and so till what you have to iterate it, till whole length of an array, 4, 5, 6, whatever array it is, highest length of it you have to iterate till that length of it. Start with a 0, print this 1, 2, 3, 4. When it comes 5, it will break. It will break because highest length is what? Highest index is 5. Length is 5. So it will break out, right? So I plus plus increment, right? We have seen that. And system.out.println. So how do you print now? If you want to print, so how you are going to print now? Let's say, so you always have that, right? So whatever you have, let's say you can print like what do you print now? So if I take the k, right? Let's say k, okay, and what do you do now? So let's say I, right? So what it's going to happen now? K of I, or understand this, there is something, right? So you have to keep careful, right? So otherwise, what I do is, let me comment this thing. So just to avoid it, right? So for example, I'll take I only to avoid this, right? Then, so what is going to happen here? So let's say you have taken this one, right? I equal to start with a zero, or you can take K, anything is fine. Okay, okay for us. Let's say you take this one only. Okay. And then, so if you want to print all of this values, right? There are different ways, right? I was trying to show one more way. So if I want to print with the index, right? I want to print with the index, all the indexes actually. So what I can do is, I can just do like this, right? I can just do like this. IF, let's say K. IF K. So why it is throwing an error? Why it is throwing an error? Can you tell me? K equal to 0 and K. So what you are going to print this length, right? So you are going to print this length of it, right? So I dot length. Right? So we have taken the length. See, that's why it is, right? So you have to be little careful. You have to, you need to declare it actually. So you know to declare all these things you have to print, right? I will just comment it. Now see. Okay. So now everything is gone, right? So can you tell me what is what is going to happen here? Let me comment this also. Comment out this also, and we'll take this route now. So now, what is the issue here? Can anybody tell me now? So why it is considering this like this actually for end? So we have to take always an array, right? Can you see this guy? So what exactly is throwing an error? Can you see that what is the problem here? I cannot create local variable I. So create local variable. So I it is, right. So you have taken this one. You have to create a local variable, right? What is the issue here? Can anybody tell me now? So what exactly is happening here? You have created a local variable, right? Have you created a local variable? What is the local variable of it? What is a local variable of it? Can anybody tell me? So what exactly the issue here? Why we are getting this kind of thing, right? What is the issue here? See, we have taken the array. Can anybody tell me what we are facing here? We have taken the array, integer array. So we have kept the 4 values, right? And we want to print all the values for this, all the values of this at one shot, right? At one shot, I'll tell you. So at one shot, right? And how you're going to print now? How you're going to do this now? How do you print this all values? Can anybody tell me now? See, array variable is this one. I, you should remember. Can you tell me what exactly the issue? Can you? So see, K is initialized here, right? K is initialized here. See what it is throwing an error. See that I'm just telling you, right? Can you see this now? See, this is how this, right? Any small thing index doesn't work, so it's not going to work actually. We were missing this thing. See, K is initialized here. Int K equal to 0. This is like length of it, right? So this is the array variable. This is a array variable. Let's see if I print this one, right? So what is going to happen now? I want to print I, right? I, so basically all this I want to print it. What is going to happen now? Can you just tell me? Right now. Can you just tell me now what it is printing now? Is it printing all the values, guys? It's simple. So I wanted to show you that how exactly it works. Can you tell me now? So is it printing all the values now? Is it printing all the values, guys? Right? Right. So basically, so no, this is we were missing this one. I intentionally did this, right? It is in a syntax. So you have to keep like this. So it's very simple, guys. There is no deal in this, right? So I would say there is no deal at all. It's very simple. So you declared a array and you kept the value in a different sizes. And what you're going to do is you are going to display these all values. These are values. And now, so there is, see here, there is something else also. you can you can print it in a different ways actually. So there is something called as a for each loop, advanced loop, right? You heard about it? Anybody heard about it? For each loop, right? The advanced one. So advanced loop, this is like basically an advanced loop. Why we call it as an advanced, right? So why we call it as an advanced? What is the advantage of it? See, it is not index based. You should remember that. For each loop is not index based. What it does is it you can print directly, right? So you can take one element and you can print it. For example, so I'm not going, this is a for loop, right? This is an advanced loop, right? It's a simplified one. Only thing, what is this thing, right? Like int, I will take, let's say, int p, right? You can take anything, right? So to store all the elements, int p, okay? I'll tell you what exactly I'm doing, right? So, and then what I'm going to do, right? So int p colon I, it's very simple actually. It's a simplified form of it. System.out.println. So what I should print actually, if I want to print, see, if I put E, so it will work actually, in fact. System.out.println, right? System.out.println, right? So it should ideally work. Where the all values are stored actually, if you see here, right? Where the all values are stored, can anybody tell me? Let's say all array values, right? I can print in a different way, different formats also, right? For example, for int, see what it is going to do, for each, all the iterated first value, right? This first value, all the values are going to store here for int, right? So for int p, this is a colon, right? I first time. So this is an advanced loop, right? This is a simplified form of for loop. Simplified form of for loop. So right now, what is the error? Can anybody tell me? So why it is giving an error? What is E cannot be resolved? So why it is telling that E cannot be resolved? What is the point here? Can anybody tell me? So what exactly? E cannot be resolved to be variable, right? So why it is E actually? So this is basically P. All the values are coming and storing into the P. I can take here. I can take my name. I can take any name, right? So this is like simple, right? I can take the here K, right, or L. I can take here also L. You have to take, make sure that everything is whatever you're declaring it. So you have to keep here. So you got it, guys. So this is a simplified form of it. So what it does now, what it does is instead of putting all this for loop, in index declaration and all, so you can just take this one. So again, I'm telling you, so understand this one. This is a simplified form of for loop. What you can, what you will do here, again, I'm explaining it. All the values of indexes, we are keeping into an element. We are keeping into an element, integer element p. All are stored in integer element p, and I'm just displaying the p. See here. And if you see now, let's say that I'll separate it. Will it work? So let's see that. See, after that, see, for with this loop, it has to print all this. Again, it has to, for this loop, like for each loop, it has to print. Let's execute and see what happens. See, can you see this? I have put this 100. See, I have, why it is because I put this text. That's why it is doing that. If I remove this one, it will print exactly the same value. If I save this, so it will print the exact same value how it is printed there, right? See, basically, right, you can use for loop also, you can use for each loop also. Both does the same purpose, both serves the same purpose. Only thing is, see, wherever you need the index, you want to print index kind of a thing. So basically, it will take the index and it will print. This is directly to print. So it has, so that's how we are going to use this index. And there is one more way also. If I put the system.out.println, I don't want to display with the, any kind of a loop. Can I directly display this? Is there any way inbuilt methods to directly display? Yes, there is a method, right? So you can display directly also. How we can display? There are different ways, right? Whichever way it is applicable, you can put that. Arrays dot, there is an inbuilt to string actually. To string. right? So two string, what actually, what is the two strings? So two strings, what you are going to take now? Can you tell me it is integer or long or which one is that? Java will so no, sorry, it is a float actually. What do you take here? Let's see here. Two string. So guys, it's very simple. So what type of array it is? It is boolean, byte, character, double, float, int. See two string int. See it is a long and short. So we can use this one. And see this is already showing the I. So again, I can print like this also. Let me put this. Or how do I do that? Yeah. So you can separate it and put that, right? Again, if you want to separate, understand that. So you can just, do like this, right? So it will again print what it is going to print. See, can you see this? This will print in the array format. Array is dot two string. Whatever the values you have kept in. So if you want to print into the array format, you can print it. Otherwise, you want to print in a regular format, you can do that also. You can do that also. So right, remember this, right? So that's how we are going to do, right? That's how we are going to work. Different contexts, different situations, right? We can use this and we can get it done this way. So that's how we will work with the array. So far so clear, guys, because we are going to use a lot, right, to display in testing, right? So especially when we do a lot of coding, it's not testing. So even the development guys, so they'll use a lot, right? So is it clear with you guys how to declare an array? How to declare an array, how to initialize an array, how to store the array elements into the array indexes, how to print the length of an array, how to fetch the all values of an array by using for loop, by using for each loop, and by using the inbuilt string, inbuilt array method, inbuilt array function, I would say. So this is how we can use this one, right? This is how we can understand and we can print it like this, right? So is it clear with this, everyone? Is it clear with this, everyone? For example, right? For example, right. So hope is clear with everyone. So right, this is inbuilt method. So what happens is if I want to print this is right, this is like you can see that right. It is coming from the I have not written any code here. For loop I have written. So this for each loop I have written. This one is written. So if I want to print the array elements, if I want to print array elements again into the array format. So there is an inbuilt method available. I have not done anything here. I want to print all the array elements, this array. What type of an array? This is integer type of an array. What is the array variable? Integer I type of a variable. If I want to print all these array elements, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, again in the array format, there is an inbuilt arrays dot to string. So what happens is, see if you can see, read, if you keep this right, you can read it actually. What is this method does? Returns a string representation of contents of all specified array. So whatever arrays available here, so that's what it happened, right? You see this, so it entered into the again this this array format. This is like index wise, 100, first index, second index. So here, so this is going to print into the array. You see that, right? This is an array box. So whatever value, so we can print into the array. So this is the inbuilt method, right? We have different types of scenarios, so we might use it, but normally to print it, right? So we use this array. We use this kind of an array. So is it clear? Is it clear? So that is an inbuilt method which you want to display in the array format. So there is nothing much to display. So right, is it clear? Is it clear? So yeah, no worries. So I'll do that, right? There is nothing much to explain. See, here I can explain it because this is a for loop. I have done it. I want to fetch all the array elements. So I have initialized I have taken there is already array variable and I have taken my own variable and I'm putting into this and I'm displaying here. So same thing here also. So in what I'm doing is array variable is this one. I'm putting all the array values into the P. I'm printing here. This is my one. So this is the inbuilt one. See, I can't do anything here. If I put something array K, D, it doesn't work, right? So this doesn't work. Why this doesn't work? because whatever array values you want to print to string, I mean, so whatever the values are available inside this array, so this will be printed into the format of that one, right? So how we show, that is the only thing what we understand here. It takes, so guys, it has to, right? So you have to, go through that and you have to practice a bit. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult, right? So let's say that is an integer array. I want to see how the double array works quickly, guys. So how the double array works? Can anybody tell me how the integer array we declared it? You saw that int I equal to c. This is the array integer array declaration. Can anybody tell me how do I same way? How do I declare, guys? Can anybody type in there? Double, right? D, double D, new. Like what you want to do, right? Sorry. So what do you want to do now? What is the size you want to put? Let's say 4. What is it? So double D equal to new. Again, you have to write double. So that is the syntax of an array, guys. If I remove this, it doesn't work. See, always the array variable, array data type, whatever it is, int, float, whatever, double. And so the variable, array variable is d here and new. And so you have to tell here again the double. So now this is a proper array declaration. This is syntax, right? So array declaration. How, what do you want to declare now? Can anybody tell me? So what is a array variable? Array variable is D. That time array variable is, so whatever I write, you have taken D. Can I say this? Can I put some, how many values I can store, guys? Can anybody tell me? How many values can I store? Can you put into the chat? In this 4, how many values I can store inside this double array? How many values I can store? Can you type in the chat? I can store 3 values or 4 values. I can store 3 values or 4 values. I can store 4 values, right? I can store 4 values. But starting from which array, ending starting index and ending index is what? Starting index is always what? Starting index is always what? This one, right? Double. So you can take this one, float, not double, 2 things. See, starting index is this one. That is what the difference I'm talking about. I cannot store 5. I have to store 4 only. But the end index is 0. So people get confused. So that's the reason I don't want you to confuse. That's why I'm repeating it. See, I have to store. I can store 4 elements here. See, remember, 4 elements. I can store whatever, how many size you declared, length you declared, you can store those many elements. I can store basically 4 elements here, right? Size is for 4. But so indexes start with the 0. Index, last index is 3. That is what I was trying to tell, right? So is it clear with you guys? So array, double array declaration. And if you want to print it, can anybody tell me? You can print the for loop. You can take the for loop and print it, right? You can take the for each loop or for loop or whatever you want it. So always for each loop is simple one, right? So what is the data type? You can take double or whatever, right? Double. And what you want to take? You can take here my name also, right? Mohan. I can take anything. This variable, and but which is important thing is this is important. Array variable, you have to keep this side. And this variable, I can put my name, I can put your name, I can put L, D, G, whatever. You can put G also here. All these double array elements will be stored onto this variable, this kind of a element where element or variable where we store it. System.out.println. What is that? G. G will print everything now. So if you see this, see here, this will print what? Is it going to print or you have to take something else? You have to remember this. If you print this G, let's see what it's going to print. Can you say this? See 10 that 12, 10 that 12. So if you want to make it 20.22, something like this, right? Just to understand it, right? 30, so 3, 40.42, something like this. Simple, guys. So I'll tell. So we use a lot, right? So to test it and all, right? I want to keep the values and all, right? So we'll store that. It is stored in this one. 10 point. So 10, 20, 30, 40. It is printing because It's an advanced loop, right? I told you this, that loop also, and this loop also, whichever is available, so you can print it, get it on your task. So character, basically this is a double array. We can work with the character array also, right? Character array, right? Just to, so we have a char array as well, right? So how do you do? Can you tell me now? I have declared the double array. Can you declare the character array? Anybody? Can you tell me how to do? What is the data type of character? Char, right? And then so how you can declare it, right? So new and again char. This is how it works, right? So this is syntax of it. How much you want to declare? You can declare whatever you want. Let's say three I want to declare. Let's say why it is throwing in error? Can anybody tell me? Char C, right? So why it is throwing, you have to keep inside this char C new char 3. What is the size of this character array? This is a character array because we are keeping the keyword character. This is a double array, right? This is a character array. And how many elements you can store? Three elements starting with 0 to 2. Simple. Store this, whatever variable you have taken, you have to store here. So let's say, see, character first index character. What do you want to store? Anything you can store. Let's say I want to store, like, I want to store A, B, C, whatever you want, X, right? Character. And what is the index, second index? It's going to be three values I can store, right? Character, single quote guys. Remember, X, Y. If I put double quote, it doesn't work because that is going to be string one, right? Character. What do you do here? So let's say two, right? And then what you can store? You can store whatever value you want. You have to terminate with the semicolon. See, I declared a character array of size 3 and I have with the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. I have stored X, Y, Z value. Simple. There's no deal at all. It's very simple, folks. It's very, very simple, right? So how do you work if you want to display those things? You can take a character and similarly you can display it. Is it clear to everyone? I wanted to display that. Same way you can take a double and you can display it, right? Or you can take character and you can display this loop. Right? How do you do this? Let's say there is a trick, right? I wanted to do some exercise. Let's say, how do you declare, guys? Can you tell me here? For each loop, I want to do like this. You want to put the char and what you want to take here? Anything you can take. I'll take a variable t. And what is the integer? Character array variable? It's a C. See here. I wanted to print this, right? Something is there. I want to do this quickly. So where the value, all values are stored, all values are stored into the t, right? You can use any loop, right? So you can use any loop and display it. Say it is printing X, Y, Z. Simple. I declared a character array. With size 3. I stored three elements in a three characters in a character array, and I'm displaying fetching those values. Like different types of there are, so all these data types of an arrays and you can print it actually. Let's say I can go for the string array also, right? String array. I want to print the string values, right? What you can do? Can you tell me now? How do you declare the string array? Same way, right? String, right? Let's say prog. Okay. Let's say prog lang, something like that. Equal to. So what do? You can declare take anything, right? So there's nothing variable. You can take anything new, and whatever you have taken. So the string you have to take the same string. Simple, guys. So listen here. So what's happening here? If you why it is throwing an error? Can anybody tell me? You have to always statically. You have to always declare the size of it. You not declare size of it. Let's say that I want to declare this 4 size of this string array is 4. I can store what programming language, right? Whatever this is your choice. You can do whatever name you want. Programming, right? Like 0 programming language. Let's say I want to put in here Python, something like this, right? String. You can keep the string value. See, here is a character single, and this is the this one, right? Programming languages. Let's say how many we can store here. Can anybody tell me? So how many we can store? So basically, what is the size of its 4? So it starts with a 0, 1, 2, size is 3, and you can put something different. Java, PHP, or something like this. I'm putting the programming languages, right? So program languages. So if I want to print this, how do you declare, how you going to declare this one? Let's say take a advanced for each loop, always for loop or for each loop what we use. Can you tell me what exactly the what type of data is this? Data is string type, string. Then what I do is I'll take a e, and then where the all values are stored here, you have to take this one. The array type is program. I can k, t, whatever I can put here. So I'll copy this and I'll put in here. What is happening now? What is happening now? All this program variable, array variable, which is keeping string values, 4 string values, because size is 4. So it is keeping all this program language into the E, and I can just display this E, system.out.println E. Is it clear, guys? Let me so do this. See, can you see this Python, Java, PHP, people? Is it clear, guys? So is it clear to this? This for each loop is very simple and very easy, and people use nowadays a lot. This one is for each loop clear with everyone. I want to understand quickly. For each loop is clear. For each loop is clear with everyone. Is for each loop is clear with everyone? I want you to say so whatever yes or no. I can explain it. How many number of times you want it, I can explain, right? Anything you understand, you can ask at any point of time or pick and call me. It's very simple, right? So it's very simple, guys. Nothing. See, I want to print all these string array values. So by using for loop is a keyword, and string data type you have to put string. And this you can take my name, your name, anything. But this is mandatory. This you have to take the array. This K I can take my name, right? I was telling this thing also. I can take my name also, it works. This is no problem. But whatever you are taking, all the program, these all string values are going to keep here. You have to put here. While displaying, you have to keep that where you have stored. Are stored in Mohan, E, whatever. You just execute it, so it's going to print now. Whatever it is, right? So it's going to print all your programming languages for each loop, right? So basically for each loop. And now, see here, for each loop, but I want to receive, I want to print only, I want to print only Python. I want to print only Python. How do I do that? Put a condition. I want to I see now it is loop, it is printing everything Python. You can either system.out.println and you can put 0 also, or within I have written the loop, but within loop I want to print only Python. I don't want to print all these things, right? If you can do this, this is what we use in a regular testing a lot, right? Where the values are stored, it is stored in Mohan. If Mohan dot equals, right? So you can do this equals, right? What is going to happen? What is equal to Python? Mohan dot equals Python. What do you want to do? You have to break, right? You remember that if condition, right? We have already done this. If you could remember, we have already done this, right? Equals, what do you want to do? I want to print that whatever it is, right? Right? You can put some statement, right? My, you know, probe language, something like this. So it will print whatever the programming language it is, right? If you concatenate this one, so it is going to print. And now see here, you can do like this, right? Programming language, right? Or else what you can do is, see, this might not require, right? I'm telling you. So what happens here? If I do something like this, my program language, guys, listen here. So I hope you're paying an attention. See here, I want to break this. See, why did I give that statement? See, what it does is, what is this? Is a for each loop, right? For each loop, right? So if you put this right, so what is going to display, right? It will tell you everything, right? So what this string class represents, the string class, if you keep cursor, it will give you all the explanation. You can read the string class represents character string, right? So this is a string is group of characters, right? That's how it is. That's what it is. You can read those things and understand it. If you keep cursor and any keyword, so it will give you all this information. If you keep any cursor any of the keywords, so it will give you all this kind of a thing, right? So what is going to happen now? What is going to happen? It will try to iterate, right? It will see what is going to do. Protlang angles have 4 strings. First string it will try to put Python, then Java, then PHP, then Perl and all. So while displaying, if Mohan, this variable Mohan dot equals Python, then you no need to do it. Like this just to understand, right? You don't need it. You break it. You just break it because I don't want to see that. If it is equal to it is a for loop is there. You don't print further things to me inside this loop. I want to see only the Java, only the Python one. If I execute now, see here, right? If I execute now, what's going to happen? It's just printing Python. See, it's your control, right? You are the driver. You are in the driver sheet. You can control what you want to print. I want to print only Python first element. So what I'm doing is in this for each loop, I'm restricting if Mohan dot equals Python, break it. Don't go further Java, PHP and all. So we have that's the reason we have used a lot, right? This basics are so important, guys. If you don't understand, so it's going to be big problem for you guys. Remember this. And quickly I'll tell you, right, one more thing, right? So there is something called as object array. You can keep different types of object array. Remember, I'll quickly show this one, right? What is object array? See, so far you have seen that. So far you have seen that the similar type of. If you declare characters, you have to put only characters. If you declare string means you have to string only string, integer. But object array, if you declare, you can keep any type of a data type. That's the beauty of this object, right? Let's say object array. Give me. So object array, let's say obj new. Then what is that? So object array. This is a different types of the advanced kind of an array, right? So advanced kind of an object, right? So why it is, let's say you want to put something, let's say 4. This is an object array. What I can put here? See here. Understand that object. So you have to keep this one, right? Type this just become variable. Object, basically if you want to make a array object, so you have to give this array symbol. Remember this object, right? Obj, this thing new object and this one. So I want to put the store the values now. Let's say I want to store something. Zeroth index, sorry, zeroth index. I can store something. I can store my name, right? Some name I can store. See, anything it will take. Now, first index, guys, listen. So, first index, okay. So, let me take out this one. So, right, first index, you want to store anything? I want to store number. I can store number also. That's 100 I want to store. 100 I want to store. See, it is allowing. It's an object array. See, it's not restricted to only character, string and all. You can store any kind of a data type of an element. Like obj, right? So quickly I'll do that, right? So what is going to happen now? 2. So what I want to store, I can put the decimal value also, I can put the boolean also, anything you can put. Doesn't matter. Obj, let's say 3. What I can put, you can put any kind of a value, right? Let's say 22.23, something like this, right? So this thing, anything, right? And obj, right? I can put something like 4, right? We have 4. Right, so it's going to exceed, right? So if you want to keep 5, let's say size is 5, but start with the 0, we can put maximum 4. I want one more to put in, right? Let's say I want to put the character A. Is it clear, guys? So you can put the object array will allow you to store any kind of data type, but integer will allow only integer, string will allow only string. That is the difference. So let's say system dot dot dot, or you can just put the for loop to print everything from this array, right? So for what you're going to do now, can anybody tell me the similar way, right? Or what is the array type? You have to put the array type, right? So data type, object, and you can take anything here. T, K, I, E, anything you can take, right? Let's say I take Y, colon, and you have to remember this you have to put, otherwise it doesn't work. I told you again, right? So this declaration I put Mohan that time object Y, K, T, your name, anything you can put. And system, so what is going to do that? System dot out dot println, where all these value object array values are stored. Object array values are all stored in where? It is stored in what? Where it is stored? It is stored into the Y. Is it clear, guys, everyone? What is object array? You can store all data types of values, declaring this object with the keyword. And if you want to print all these values, you can just quickly print it. Let's say execute it. See, can you see this? Can you see this, guys? So what is happening here? What is happening here? So it is printing what? It is printing only Y. Why it is printing only Y? What is the object? Object Y. So where it is coming Y, and then obj system dot out dot print ln. So print ln this one, right? So let's say what is this one? Can you just try this one and come back to me? It's very simple, right? So we are missing something here. For each loop, so we have taken the object, right? And why? How we did earlier cases, right? So for object, we have taken the full this thing, and why anything you can take, all right? And then what you can do is, so let me take this E, right? So that's E, and what you do is you have to print E, right? And the where it is stored actually, it all stored into the type of array, right? This one we put in, right? You remember OBJ. So everything, whatever is there, it will keep into here. And system.println, this should work, right? Are we putting inside somewhere? All right. So let's do this. We are keeping inside. So that's why it is throwing in error, right? So can you see this now? Oh, sorry, it was hiding. What was that? You can see that Ayush, 100, true. All these values are stored here. Is it printing all the values, guys? So is this clear with everyone? What we have gone through now? So we have gone through this arrays, right? So what type of an array? How to declare an array and everything? Is it clear with everything? Can you print type clear with it? I'll keep this code for you. Is it clear with everyone? So can you type if you are clear or anything you need it? I want you to see this one. Is it clear with everyone? And I give you this liberty. You can ask at any point of time, right? You can keep this thing any point of time. You can ask me. So I told you this. I hope this is clear with everyone. I'm just putting that one, right? So I have just put it. Practice it, guys. If you don't practice, it's no use. I told you very clearly. I want you to practice, guys. Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? I just put it for the practice. You can just take different examples and different things, right? So I think that's it. No, sorry. Hope everyone getting this code right. Whatever I'm typing in here, go to this. Yeah. Is it clear with everyone? So let me put this. All right, good. So, guys, I think that's it for the day. I think we have done this. So covered array. Bit of things are in array. So few things we'll keep on covering, right? If you keep on giving hundreds of examples, we'll keep on getting that. But we'll understand the concept very well. So which is very important. So, all right, guys. I hope you have taken this code also. Hope you have taken. So, all right. So thanks for joining today and have a good day. We'll talk tomorrow, guys, as usual, our regular time. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye for now. If you need anything, so reach me out directly a number. So anything, so I'll help you. Thank you all, guys. Bye for now.